So I was thinking about the solar powered sauna thing. That got me thinking, well, how hot of a building can I make? Now, a lot of times when you make a building with passive solar architecture, you want to avoid creating an oven. Well, in this case, I kind of do want to create an oven. And so I'm thinking, what if I had a roof of frosted glass that faced to the south, it had a slope to the south, about at the right angle for the sun at my latitude, and frosted because I want to disperse that light. Now, I guess clear would be better because then I'm letting all the light come in. And then perhaps translucent cloth that disperses it, but when the radiation hits that translucent cloth, the heat stays in. And it'd be white probably, so it's not like a lot of it would stay in. But in other words, I could even hang polycarbonate underneath the window, and it could even be, frosted to disperse the light. And that would have the same effect, and you wouldn't have to clean the cloth. You could add to that. Well, first of all, you could just build it and see how it's going. And you could build it with a fireplace in there, because sometimes the sun isn't shining. And you could make a really efficient fireplace, like airtight fireplaces. That might have been plural there. And then, of course, the evacuated tube solar hot water heaters on the eastern side to heat it up when it's the coldest, and the southern side to heat it up the rest of the time. Now, you don't even have to put those in right away because it might get so hot anyway. And I'm imagining like a large room. So forget about this idea of a small sauna that's tiny, but instead then we could have like regular plastic furniture, and people can still sit on their towels and stuff. Plastic, because we can clean it well. Wood's still an option, of course. But then you actually have hot drinks available. You've got a tunnel that goes out of it, and that's to keep the heat in. So no heat can get out once it's in there. The entry tunnels, one would be for exiting, one would be for entering. So 2 tunnels, or 1 tunnel that's divided, same thing. And that opens up out into fire pit areas, places where you can shower off with cold water. We probably wouldn't even want to put the cold water shower within the building because we're trying to avoid introducing cold water. Any cold that comes into it. We don't want cold to enter the space. We could have a heat exchanger air system that allows for air to get in there. And I don't know a lot about heat exchangers, but essentially we would run air in to the fireplace next to it with tubes and stuff. Well, we'd figure it out, but somehow air comes in and gets heated up a lot without losing heat. I don't know, we'd figure that shit out. But then outside these tunnels, there's fire pits, there's a performance space, you can be outside. There's maybe if we have enough rain at that time of year, there's a cold water dip. But even that though, it takes too much effort and resources, and also I don't want a bunch of people's dead skin in the same water. So I'd rather have outside colder showers that you can then scrape down, maybe off the tunnel, off the sides of the tunnel, or maybe there's a third tunnel that goes to different spaces. I don't know. I mean, but the point is building size so you can actually walk around. And the hot drinks are going to heat you up even more. And so the point is get you sweating, like too hot. And maybe it wouldn't be hot all day long, I don't know. But it depends on how many solar hot water heaters you have. And I'm just imagining, I guess something isn't just go down, sit down, and be in a cramped little space, but making a larger space that feels comfortable. We still probably wouldn't want a really high ceiling because heat rises, and we have limits on how much we're going to be able to heat it. On the other hand, if we did have a high ceiling and then different levels, people could actually be at higher levels if they want to be hotter, and lower ones if they want to be slightly colder. Although we're trying to heat the whole space up. Not enough to cook people, in which case I need to look up like what's the sauna temperature range that people would enjoy? Like, what do you think that is for you? Have you enough experience with saunas that you have a preferred temperature? You know, it might matter whether you're going in for 20 minutes or you're going to stay in there for an hour. Maybe if you're going in for 20 minutes, you want to go to the hottest spot, get your sweat on, and then get the hell out. I do worry with the bigger ones about disease issues. I don't want a lot of people crowded together, but if this thing was running with no combustible energy, right? No oil, no electricity even, then it really wouldn't matter. You could have it running all the time. And so if it's running all the time, you could have different groups come in at different times and even do a massive exchange of air. You could have a sealed fan so that you can turn that on, sucking all the air out, all that hot air out, and then reheat it. Or the cold air, I don't know what. But the point is that you want to clean the sauna. It's going to be a dry sauna. You could also have a wet sauna, but dry saunas have less issues. They use less water. I guess they do get hotter. They feel hotter, right? Humidity makes you feel hotter. And of course, we'd have drinking water supply, infinite drinking water, and ask people to massively hydrate. Because there's some sweat lodges I've heard of where they think it's really studly and spiritual to not drink water. And it's like, no, that's a dumb idea. Some guy did that, I think, in Arizona. You know, it was all spiritual and stuff, and some people died, and he got prosecuted, and he should. So, no dumb shit. You know, and you could have quiet hours, and you could have hours when there's music, and hell, you could even have a fun dance party in the sauna. That sounds fun. I don't know, just crazy ideas about stretching the ideas of what a sauna is.